Hi, I'm Mike, and today is something brand new and very exciting for the ranch. Hustler Equipment has 10 new attachments available and has given us the opportunity to test and evaluate and eliminate from the ranch each and every one. Over the next few months, we're going to take each one out and put it through its paces. In some cases, we'll be comparing to existing equipment on the ranch. In others, we might be finding whole new uses. And at the end of each episode, we'll declare each new implement a winner or a loser for our ranch and decide if it stays or if it goes. It's the Hustler Equipment Showdown, and it's only on Our Wyoming Life. First off, let me thank Hustler Equipment for giving us this unique opportunity to test and evaluate a brand new product line for them. You've seen this piece of equipment here on the ranch many times. This is our Hustler feeder. And over the last couple of years, we've used it here on the ranch over the winter to feed our cows and to do it efficiently and in the safest and quickest way possible. I love this thing. And since I pride myself on being a bit of a no-nonsense type of guy, I've actually went back to Hustler Equipment with issues, problems, and sometimes even solutions in the performance of this very piece of equipment. I think it's the down-to-earth and real experience that Hustler's looking for when it comes to their product. So when I was told that they're launching a whole new implement line that was set up to help the farmer and rancher, I was pretty excited. And when they came to me and asked if I would help evaluate their products, sometimes the finished product and sometimes even the product in the prototype stage, I was happy to help them out. And when we came up with the idea to share the evaluations with you, I was ecstatic. Hustler is showing a lot of faith in us and in their product. In exchange, I promised them and you that I would only give a fair, true, and realistic assessment and opinion. And here's how this whole thing's going to work. Each time we do this, we'll discuss the implement to work with. That implement is going to go up against the closest equivalent on the ranch. We'll sit down and come up with at least 3 things that we want to test. And I don't like spending money on a one-trick pony, and I firmly believe that the most tools and equipment here on the ranch should have more than one use. So we're going to come up with different uses for them as well. Once we know what our tests are going to be, we're going to head out in the field. We're going to complete those tests, and we'll bring you along for the whole process. When the tests are done, then we're going to sit down together for our final evaluation. And that's where we're going to take a look at the good, the bad, the positives, the negatives of each and every implement that we test as compared to our ranch equivalent, or even sometimes just itself. As you can see, we have a full set of implements to get us started. From manure spreaders back there to spears and buckets. We're going to do a lot of things with this stuff. But to get us started, we're going to actually start out with this guy right over here. This is the Regener8R Harrow. It's folded up right now. It's just over 20 feet wide, and it's designed to help revitalize pastures, spread manure, and smooth out fields. We are going to take a more in-depth look at it in just a couple of minutes, but first, it's time to head over to the shop, and, well, we're going to get started with our plan of attack. And this is our battle of attack. What is it? Attack?
Battle of the attachments?
I don't know. This is something or other. This is a spot where Jeff and I get a chance to sit down, and we're going to come up with our plan, our plan of attack. That's what I was looking for. Plan of attack. So we basically want to be able to test 3 separate things on the Regener8 heavy field harrow. And by the way, the number 8 is in the name, the Regener8. That's marketing. Very, very clever marketing. And so we want to be able to test 3 things on this thing, and we're going to put it up against our harrow that we've used on the ranch for years, which is a 30-foot wide harrow, which is actually wider. So we should be able to get more done faster, obviously. But we're going to kind of test that as well. So let's come up with 3 things that we can test on this, that we would use it around the ranch or something like that. And I really think the first place place we should start is probably attachments and getting them attached to the tractor. You know, the ease of attachment, is it a pain in the butt? You know, all that kind of good stuff.
That's kind of huge.
That is a big thing. So we'll do that first. So we're going to do ease of attachment. Okay. Our second thing that we want to test is obviously, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think we want to test? By the way, this is Ranch Hand Jeff, by the way, if you've never met him before. This is your second summer here on the ranch, so you kind of know your way around some of the attachments and how they work, and you've done your fair share of harrowing. So this is not totally new to you.
Right.
Okay. So what else? I mean, obviously we need to be able to test what? Quality.
What it does.
Okay, so we have ease of attachment, and we're also going to test actual functionality. Okay, all right.
See, vocabulary is not my strong suit.
I came into this blind too. We probably should have sat down and figured this stuff out in advance, but we didn't. Third thing that we want to test, obviously functionality is what Hustler says it's supposed to do, right? So it's supposed to rejuvenate fields, spread manure. That's your the two main tasks that we want to be able to do with it. We do have another use for a harrow that we use harrows around here for quite a bit, and that is actually just leveling out the ground, moving, obviously if we have gravel, we're leveling gravel, and we did just put in the new RV park over there, and there are some roads over there that are a little washboardy after the entire summer of being used.
Yeah, a little bit.
So let's do that. Let's take it over there. That'll be our out-of-the-box thinking. Okay. And we'll take it over there and we'll run it over that and see how it works. Obviously, we can't compare that to a 30-foot harrow. But I guess the first part we start at is getting the darn thing hooked up.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start there.
Let's do.
And there it is. That's the Regener8R heavy field harrow. Pretty sturdy thing, honestly, just looking at it here. One thing that Hustler does is they seem to overbuild things. I mean, really, when we're looking at their implements or even the feeder that we've had for a couple of years, like this stuff is built pretty dang heavy. This is all cast, so hopefully it holds up to rocks and stuff like that. That's one of the things we're gonna be testing as we take this around here. And it folds down to form that 20-foot harrow that we're going to be working on. Jeff is pulling in here with the tractor, and the nice thing is that he already went and hooked up our 30-foot harrow. So here's a little bit of what that looked like compared to, and you can compare that to what we're about ready to hook up. The big difference between this harrow and our other harrow, as you could tell, was that the other harrow you actually have to back up to. You've got a hitch type deal. This one is a 3-point hitch, which we don't know. Is it going to be easier? Is it going to be a little bit more difficult? We'll find out. Jeff is going to bring it back. He's going to kind of run the tractor as we get everything lined up here. Doing this by yourself is a bit of a pain. And our quick connects don't actually work with this setup. So unfortunately, we have to do it with just a straight 3-point hookup. Okay, down just a little bit. Now go down. All right, stop right there. Okay, forward just a little tiny bit, and up just a little tiny bit. Okay, right there. Forward. Whoa. There we go. All right, that side's done. Now for the other side. All right, you're gonna have to come back with it. Turn, keep coming, keep coming. A little farther. Right there. got one more hitch to drop down. Now this one's a little bit different than any 3-point hitch you've ever seen because you can use a solid hitch up here at the top, just a single hole. But down here, on this portion, we have a slide, this long slot. And what that slot is going to allow this to do is as you're going over terrain, it's going to allow the whole thing to dip and move and follow the terrain as you're going. Make sense? One last thing to do is our hydraulics. So nice and clean, brand new. All right, and this one's weird, isn't it? So this one's number 1, I think, if I remember right. All right, let me get out of the way before you do anything. Why don't you try laying it down? Watch your window just in case, but I don't think it'll hit it. Go ahead and try letting it down. Very nice. Cool. All right, Jeff, we're all hooked up, ready to go. Where do you want to test this thing to start with? Do what now? Yeah, so do we have any old growth going on in the triangle pasture where you've got the Harrow? Yeah, we did. Okay, let's do this. Let's throw in a little wild card. Let's take a look at gates with this thing. Obviously a lot smaller. So go ahead and head up, go through the red gate, and I'll talk about it up there. Okay? So gates are something that we always have to deal with this kind of implement. Obviously, our other Harrow that you saw Jeff hook up there, 16 feet wide when it's folded up, just under 16 feet. So a little tricky to get through a lot of gates. This one folds to just under 7, or around 7. I actually didn't measure it, but it's got to be about 7 feet. So it's nice to know that we'll be able to just kind of cruise through gates. I think that's going to be a big thing as well. But let's take a really quick look at what it looks like going through a gate. As you can see, the Hustler Regenerator actually narrower than the tractor, so it fits right through with no problem whatsoever. There's our old Harrow all ready to get going, and I think our best bet is probably to head across the road where the steers are living, and they've been on pasture over there the whole time. We didn't cut any of that, so we can actually take a look and see how this does in a side-by-side comparison. All right, Jeff and I are swapping. I'm going to jump in this tractor. We're going to get a shot of Jeff heading through a gate with the big one and the big Harrow and how it fits through. It's a little bit trickier. And then we're going to head across the road where the steers are at. And we are going to see how this whole thing works on a field that basically we didn't do anything with. The steers have been grazing it, but there is a lot of old growth in there, and maybe we're going to be able to clean that up a little bit and allow new growth to come up in the spring. So Jeff's heading that way. We're going to follow him and take a look and see how tight that thing is through a gate and how careful you have to be. All right, Jeff is heading up to this 16-foot gate. He's got maybe a foot of clearance or so. Pretty tight. As for us, we can just, well, we don't have to worry about it. We just cruise on through. Nothing to it. Something else that I can't help but notice as I'm following Jeff with the old Harrow is that the old Harrow is using a chain Harrow type of system. Actually has all these different interlocked pieces. And as you can see, it's kind of falling apart. All those chunks, all those pieces are actually just kind of just hanging there and barely hanging on. And while that one looks like it's kind of falling apart, ours, obviously it's new, but has a completely different design for the way that the Harrow is actually put together. So hopefully this one holds together a little bit longer, doesn't fall apart like the other Harrow did. Okay, so we're over here on the other side of our road, and this is, like I said, this is pasture that really hasn't been touched. It's been grazed a little bit, but it hasn't much been touched. So really quick, I'm gonna fold out our Harrow that we have here on this one. This is the new Regener8R Harrow. We're gonna drop this out. And then put it down on the ground. What I can also do on this tractor is I can just set this to float, so this will just kind of move along with the ground so we're not digging into the ground with it. So I've got that set up in the tractor. Let's go over and take a look and see how we unfold the one that Jeff is pulling around. All right, this Harrow's seen better days. I don't even know if this is a apples to apples type of comparison, honestly, to tell you the truth. But we are going to run side by side. And here's the thing about this field. We do have a lot of weeds that are coming up here. Now, this is pasture, but we did a lot of feeding over here last year. So you see all these weeds that are coming up. What we're hoping is that we're able to clean them out a little bit. So let's run side by side a little bit. Maybe, you know, just even 30 or 40 feet. And then we'll just kind of jump out, come out and take a look and see what the difference is side by side. Okay. All right. Side by side comparison doesn't get any better than this. Jeff, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's stop right about here. Go ahead and lift yours up, and then I'll lift mine up as well, and we'll be able to see what we got underneath. All right. So this is where we passed over with the Hustler. You can see we've even got into some fresh manure there. Over on Jeff's side with the old Harrow, still picked up a lot of stuff. Broke off a lot of those weeds and stuff. Still got a lot of material down in here. Obviously wider, we're able to go faster, get more done. But when you look at the two side by side, I don't know if I can see a whole lot of difference.
Not much, if any.
How about this? Let me bring this one maybe over to your side. You had a lot more. I had grass.
I had weeds over there.
Let me swing around you because we've got a bunch of weeds on that side. I'm going to go right alongside you, so you don't move. But I'll just go right alongside you, and I'll go and see what that looks like side by side. All right, we're going to run right up here alongside where Jeff's at. The agility with this thing is pretty nice. I mean, I can get around, I could back it into corners, I can do pretty much whatever I want to with, and that's the difference between a 3-point and toe behind implement like he's got there. So I am just going to try to run right alongside where Jeff went. Bring our thing down, Harrow goes down. We can also control our down pressure, and away we go. As far as side by side, I had trouble even telling where you had already ran over up there. Like, it didn't really get into doing it much. But side by side, I mean, honestly, they look pretty similar.
Yeah.
Obviously, the manure breaks down as we run over it. I think what we'll do at this point is we'll actually take, we know that this one works, obviously. So let's take the new one and we'll go down closer to the barn down there where we've got a bunch of manure, and see how well this one breaks out and spreads manure.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Cool. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's just take this one, let's fold this one back up. Unless you want to drag it down there and harrow a little bit on the way. You could.
It's easier than folding it up and unfolding it.
Yeah. So yeah, just take it down, kind of park it by Erin's garden down there. Okay? So far, I like the Hustler Regener8R Harrow. It's growing on me. I kind of like it. The versatility of it, the being able to move around a little bit easier, makes a lot of sense. So we are going to head back down towards the barn on this side of the road where we can run into some manure and get that knocked down. When it comes to working inside a more manure prone area, we're actually going to swing up in here by our corrals on this side of the road, back it up, because this is the really nice thing about this is we can back it right into tight areas, drop it back down and pull it out. And this is all that dead stuff that we're pulling out, getting it out of there, and allowing new growth to come in. along with a bunch of weeds, which is a good thing. All right, now for our out-of-the-box thinking, we're going to take it over and we're actually going to work on the road in the RV park, which is right over there.
Yep,
so, cool. So on the road, obviously, I don't need to have 20 feet because I don't have a 20-foot road. So all we have to do is fold it back up. And here we go. This is our RV park. The road, a little wavy. Obviously, we don't need 20 foot, like I said, so we're going to try running this folded up and see if we can drop it on the ground and get enough pressure to be able to smooth some of this out. Now, because we can't do one of those tests where you put the champagne glass on the hood or something like that, I'm going to put Jeff out here with the camera, and his job is going to be to tell us if it's any smoother than it was when we ran over it the first time. Or do we need a steamroller?
Might need a vehicle.
Oh, to just drive over it and see what it feels like?
You could do that after the fact, right? Walking on it, it feels smooth. True.
So maybe afterwards we'll run over here with the four-wheeler and just run over it really quick, because we know what it feels like to drive over it before. We've done that 1,000 times.
Definitely.
So I'm just going to make a couple loops then, and we'll see how it comes out. I don't think that's a good idea. That ain't working.
You could lift it up just enough that the tines are touching the ground, but the bar isn't. I don't know if those are heavy enough to do any good without.
Yeah, but then I think it's going to get caught on the back because it's sliding. So maybe we take the slide out of the equation?
So I'm thinking if you can get it level so that the bars are up and the tines are down, just touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know if they're heavy enough to do anything. Just touch it.
Right.
Way to find out.
Yep. Okay, so a little change of plans here. Obviously, the way we had it set up, we're digging up a lot of this rock. We don't want to move all this rock out of here, so we are going to change the way this thing floats so that it's more of a steady thing. Remember we talked about that slide? Now we're going to change it up and put it up here in this hole so it doesn't have anywhere to go. That'll give us a little bit more control and hopefully not pick up as much of this rock on that leading edge. Okay, this ain't working, not over here. And I think part of it might be because we have it folded up. That might be part of the issue. So let's try taking it across the road where we can unfold it. We've got plenty of room. We're not trying to do a road like this, but we're actually harrowing a bigger area. Let's go try that.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. So attempting to harrow while it's folded up, kind of a failure. Not really working. But my suspicion is once we get it folded down and we're able to harrow the entire distance, I think that'll make a big difference. But I don't really know. We're going to find out. We get over across the road into the yard where we have the same kind of setup. It's actually a crushed, or it's a crushed concrete that we're trying to smooth out a little bit. The same setup over there might work a little bit better. We'll find out. All right, that's it. The Regener8R. Was I saying the Regenerate? The hustle. Was I saying that in the beginning? I think did I say Regener8R right off the bat? I don't know why, but now I got the refrigerator stuck in my head, but it's not. It's the Regener8R. So basically, we are done with our test now. Now it's time for evaluation and taking a look and seeing if it's going to stay on the ranch or not. So ease of hookup as compared to our 30-foot. I don't even know what brand that thing is. Old.
Didn't see.
Yeah, it's just red. It's red brand. But the ease of hookup. Now, obviously, you've hooked up both. What do you think?
Well, it's a close one, actually.
Yeah.
As difficult as the red one is, it takes two people. Well, once you get the hang of a 3-point, you can do it alone.
Right.
Because you've done it for years.
What would be nice is if we could use, we have a quick attachment that actually doesn't really line up with this,
Right.
that we're not able to use. It'd be nice if we had the quick attachment, you just roll right in, boom, you're gone.
Right.
This one, the way it's set up, you can't actually use the quick attach. So yeah, you have to hook it up the hard way. Even, Steven?
It's too close to call on that one.
All right, now we're going to take a look at functionality. Functionality is basically what the manufacturer says it's supposed to do. Does it do it? This one obviously does what it's supposed to do out in the field, as does the other Harrow. Side-by-side comparison. You are doing 30 feet at a time as compared to 20 with this. I do like this one a little bit better just because I feel a little bit more comfortable with it. When you're pulling the other bigger Harrow behind you, it can get a little squirrely. You're not quite sure how well it's following along. This one has no choice but to follow exactly where you're going.
So you
I feel
avoid obstacles much easier with this one.
right. I feel more comfortable along a fence line. Also, you're able to. I think you're going to have better luck, backing into areas, being able to catch. Cows like to hang out in the corner of fields. So if you have a lot of manure build up there, this would be able to. You could back it right in there and clean that out.
Which you showed earlier in the corral over there.
Exactly, yeah, backed right in. So for that, I would give the edge to the Hustler.
Absolutely.
For that also. And then our wild card, which was going out and actually using this Harrow to right here on our gravel yards and on the road over there. Dismal failure on the road. Obviously, we were having all kinds of trouble. It was digging up dirt, but Jeff actually figured out why that happened and why when we brought it over here to this yard we were able to fold it out and it works perfectly fine. Jeff, do you want to show us what you're talking about?
Sure. Can you see from here? You can.
We can go around the side here. By the way, look at these nice little lines it puts in the ground. I don't know why, but they're cool.
What do they call that?
Furrows?
Very satisfying. Very satisfying video.
Yeah.
So these skids are on the wings.
Okay.
So when the wings are out, it keeps the whole thing that far off the ground. And it allows these to do their job instead of this doing the job.
Okay.
If they would put... There's none on the center.
Right, okay.
So all you're getting is downward pressure directly on the bar in the center by itself.
And that's why we were digging up all the gravel and moving it around instead of actually. So if these skids, or if a set of these skids, just like them, were actually on the other portion, you could technically, probably, maybe not according to the manufacturer, but...
I'm no engineer, but I think that would work.
Yeah, and you could do a narrower area, right? So a lot of us have drags that we'll put behind the four-wheeler, we'll run around with those, but this could actually work. And the nice thing about this too, being on the three-point hitch, is you control your down pressure.
Yeah.
Obviously with the other one, you have no control over that. You put it down, it's on the ground.
Right.
Here, you can float it, you can push it down if you have to. If you got a big pile of manure you're trying to move, you can actually hold it down and hold it a little bit closer to the ground. Okay, so as far as our wild card goes, what do you think?
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think that once you get the kind of the kinks worked out, and maybe another set of skids would help us with the road. I think over here, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to be able to have 20 feet to be able to drag with, and you could fit it in the corrals. Yeah. You can go through the smaller corral gates. We can get into the corral areas. We can clean those up as well.
The width is great because it's narrower than a tractor.
Right.
The red one is wider than the tractor, so you
by a little bit.
You've got to be centered in a gate.
Right.
If it's 16 foot.
Yeah. So folded up, it's a little under 16 feet.
Okay,
yeah. So this one is about 7 feet folded up. So you're inside the tires.
Yeah. So it's golden going through gates.
Right. Does the other one make you nervous going through gates?
Every time.
Every single time. Yeah. I think I've actually. Tell you the truth, I've ripped off a gate one time with that Harrow.
Better you than
I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't paying close enough attention. Alrighty, guys. So the big question is, should it stay or should it go? Who did that song?
Should I stay or I have no idea.
I have no idea. I just thought I'd see if you would sing it. We get a copyright strike. All right. So stop humming it. They're gonna. If you hum it too, they'll ding us there. The cat likes it, obviously. So should it stay or should it go?
I think it should stay.
I think so too. I think it is it's a worthwhile addition to the ranch, being able to just be able to do different things with it. The other Harrow, while it looks like it's falling apart, number one, it needs a lot of work. Actually, we had a neighbor borrow it, and I think he was a little hard on it, but that's totally fine because that's how that thing works. That's how it comes back. We didn't have time to kind of put it back together. I don't think it'll be long before I've got neighbors coming to me saying, "Hey, that Harrow you got over there? Can I borrow that for the day and knock down some corrals and everything else?"
You have to learn to say no.
I'm horrible at that. So it looks like the Hustler Regener8R heavy field Harrow is going to stay, and we will use it out in the fields. We'll get a lot of stuff ready this fall, knocking down some of that dead growth, getting ready for new growth to come in the spring. So sounds like a plan to me. For our next test on the Hustler equipment, we don't have a clue. Actually, I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, if the weather turns, we may be moving snow with buckets and see.
We may have to, yeah, bucket compared to blade, because we do have a rubber blade from Hustler that we can use to clean out corrals and also move snow with. Maybe that's what's coming next, because we do have snow in the forecast next week right here on the ranch. So thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you to Hustler for hooking us up with this equipment and actually trusting us enough to test it. This is something I don't really give Hustler like a sneak peek at these things. They see it at the same time. In fact, probably somebody from Hustler is watching this video as you watch this video, and right now they're probably cussing at us. But this is what they signed up for. So, and they're happy to be partners with us. We're happy to be partners with them. And the fact that they trust us and allow us to do this is really actually something, because I can't think of a whole lot of companies that would do this. They really earn my respect by allowing us to come out and try to break stuff. Not that we're trying to break stuff, but we're going to break something. I guarantee it. All right, that's it for us today, guys. We'll see you next time. Until then, make sure you subscribe, follow along, click the little bell button so you don't miss a thing. We've got another Hustler Showdown video on the way. It's already in the works, so be sure to hit the bell button so you get notified when new videos come out. That's it for us. This is Jeff. I'm Mike, and we'll see you next time right here on Our Wyoming Life.